Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Mr. Katsuhiko Takahashi, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, Madam Nur Fajaria binti Sulaiman, representing His Excellency Datuk Surveyor Haji Kamaruzaman bin Mat Saleh, Mayor of Kuala Lumpur, His Excellency Mr. Hayato Shimizu, Mayor of Saitama, Datuk Hamzah bin Hussein, Chief Executive Officer, SEDA Malaysia, Professor Kazuhiko Takeuchi, President of IJES, Mr. Koji Hamazaki, Executive Director, City Strategy Headquarters, Saitama City, Professor Ho Chin Siong, University Technology Malaysia, Dr. Fujino Junichi, Program Director of Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, IJES, DBKL Heads of Department, esteemed delegates from Japan, panelists, online attendees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ohayo gozaimasu, and a very good morning to all. Thank you everyone for taking the time to be part of the high-level talks on city-to-city collaborations towards zero carbon Kuala Lumpur. And to our delegates from Saitama City, Kuala Lumpur yokoso. Ladies and gentlemen, just a brief introduction on today's program. This forum is aimed at spearheading decarbonization efforts in the region. Kuala Lumpur City, Saitama City, and Tokyo Metropolitan Government together will showcase their initiatives towards carbon neutrality and explore opportunities for future collaboration. Today, we also have the honor of esteemed representatives from the Japanese Ministry of Environment, the Embassy of Japan to Malaysia, Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Malaysia, University Technology Malaysia, Institute for Global Environmental Strategies or IJES, the Sustainable Energy Development Agency or SEDA, the Energy Commission, JICA Malaysia, the Japanese Chamber of Trade and Industry Malaysia, and JETRO, Kuala Lumpur, to share insights on carbon neutrality in the region. Without further ado, it is my great pleasure to invite Madam Nur Fajaria, Director of City Planning Department, representing the Mayor of Kuala Lumpur, to deliver his opening remarks. Please welcome Puan Fajaria.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, Ohayo gozaimasu, and Salam Malaysia Banani to all. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me first to express my deepest appreciation to our guests of honor today, His Excellency Mr. Kazuhiko Takahashi, the Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, His Excellency Mr. Hayato Shimizu, Mayor of Saitama, Yang Bahagia Datuk Muhammad Razi bin Haji Muhammad Mubin, Deputy Secretary General, Energy and Climate Change, Ministry of Resources, Environment and Climate Change Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Hamzah bin Hussein, Chief Executive Officer SEDA Malaysia, Professor Kazuhiko Takeuchi, President IJES, Mr. Koji Hamazaki, Executive Director, City Strategies Headquarters Saitama City, Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Ho Chin Siong, University Technology Malaysia, Dr. Fujino Junichi, Program Director of IJES. Head of Departments in City of Kuala Lumpur, distinguished official from Saitama City, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for being us for high-level international forum this morning. First and foremost, I would like to thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because with His permission, we can all be together here at the event of high-level talks on city-to-city collaboration towards zero carbon Kuala Lumpur. I'm Nur Fajaria Sulaiman, Director at the Town Planning Department, and I'm honored to stand in as the representative of our Mayor, Datuk Surveyor Haji Kamaruzaman bin Saleh. I would like to extend his sincere apologies for not being able to attend this forum. Unfortunately, Dato' Surveyor Haji is required for urgent matters concerning the well-being of City of Kuala Lumpur. On behalf of Dato', I offer our heartfelt apologies for his absence and ensure you that his commitment to the city welfare remain wavering. Thank you for your understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, these collaboration programs on the effort of IDIS, SEDA, and UTM has reached its 5th year milestone. The collaboration between the Kuala Lumpur City Hall and the City of Japan, starting with the City of Tokyo since 2019, as part of Tokyo Low Carbon System for Kuala Lumpur 2030. We are proud to announce that we have now entered the 5th fiscal years, and our esteemed guest of honor is the City of Saitama since 2022. Kuala Lumpur City Hall, Saitama City, and Tokyo Metropolitan Government will partner to implement transformational climate actions for Kuala Lumpur Carbon Neutral Growth 2050 towards Smart City based on the Kuala Lumpur Climate Action Plan 2050 and the Kuala Lumpur Low Carbon Society Blueprint 2030. This document outlines comprehensive solutions into achieving the Kuala Lumpur goals to be a carbon neutral and climate resilient city by years 2050. Kuala Lumpur has implemented various decarbonization initiatives in the city, such as installation of solar PV, introducing Go KL EV bus services, neutral carbon growth township in Wangsa Maju, increase awareness in recycling 1C, 1R, one community, one recycling, encouraging community in urban farming, organizing outreach programs with schools and resident associations to educate them on the impact of climate change and improving our pedestrian and bicycle lane infrastructure, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite all the stakeholders, including federal agencies and ministries, academics and professional associations, and also business, financial institutions, civil society, and non-government organizations to partner with us to implement the initiative. A cohesive partnership will ensure that the action plan implementation will be inclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, this event shows our commitment to transforming Kuala Lumpur into a sustainable and climate resilient city in accordance with the Sustainable Development Goals. We aim to reduce our greenhouse gas emission intensity compared to gross domestic product by 70% by 2030 and to become a carbon neutral city by year 2050. The effect of climate change must be taken seriously and addressed immediately to ensure the well-being and survival for our future generation. By fostering close cooperation among various parties and stakeholders, we can effectively tackle the challenges ahead. Finally, I would like to express my deepest appreciation again to Saitama City and the Tokyo Metropolitan Government for your continuous support to Kuala Lumpur City Hall in combating the climate change. Terima kasih. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Puan Fajaria, for the insightful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now on our virtual stage, we have Mr. Matsuzawa Yutaka, Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs, Ministry of the Environment from the Government of Japan. Mr. Matsuzawa, dozo yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Haja Fajaria, representative of Kuala Lumpur City. Ms. Koiki Yuriko, Governor of Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Mr. Shimizu Hayato, Mayor of Saitama City. Mr. Takahashi Katsuhiko, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, and distinguished guest participant. Selamat pagi. I am Yutaka Matsuzawa, Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs at the Ministry of the environment of Japan. I'd like to welcome you all to this workshop. My sincere appreciation goes to the co-organizers, Kuala Lumpur City, Institute for Global Environment Strategies, and University Technology Malaysia. Especially, I express my respect to the leadership of Datuk Kamarulzaman for leading Kuala Lumpur City toward carbon neutrality. To mitigate climate change and adapt to its impacts, cities play an important role because they account for 70% of global greenhouse gas emissions and over 55% of the world's population lived in urban areas. Japanese national and local government co-developed the regional decarbonization roadmap in June 2021 to facilitate decarbonization actions at the local level, responding to the national commitment to achieve net zero by 2050. As a concrete step to implement the roadmap, Ministry of Environment Japan plans to designate more than 100 areas as decarbonization leading areas, which aim to achieve net zero by 2030, 20 years ahead of the national target year of 2050. Such demonstrated practices are expected to be replicated across the country and beyond through the International City-to-City Collaboration Program funded by Ministry of Environment Japan. In Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur City and Iskandar Development Region participate in this program. This program is positioned as a core activity of the Clean Cities Partnership Program, C2P2, launched this February by Ministry of Environment Japan and JICA. Saitama City was adopted in the first selection of the decarbonization leading areas and presents an innovative decarbonization model utilizing a mix of renewable energy and storage batteries in public facilities, residences, commercial districts, and universities. This is a good model to make urban residence areas carbon neutral. We expect Saitama City to share their knowledge on sustainable energy and mobility management to Kuala Lumpur City. Tokyo Metropolitan Government and Kuala Lumpur City received the C40 Award for their excellent partnership through the City-to-City Collaboration Program. Decarbonization is moving from the declaration to the action phase. I look forward to transforming excellent decarbonization knowledge and technologies from Tokyo Metropolitan Government and Saitama City to Kuala Lumpur City. To commemorate the 5th anniversary of ASEAN Japan Environment Week to commemorate the 5th anniversary will be held in Vientiane, Laos this month. A ministerial-level environment and climate dialogue will be held to identify the future direction of environment cooperation between ASEAN and Japan. Ministry of Environment Japan is also planning to have a seminar that focuses on multi-level action between national and local government. I look forward to this collaboration expanding throughout Malaysia and into ASEAN countries. Finally, I sincerely hope that today's seminar will advance further collaboration between Kuala Lumpur City and Tokyo Metropolitan Government and Saitama City. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Arigatou gozaimasu, Mr. Matsuzawa, for the welcoming remarks. Now, it is an honor to welcome Madam Koike Yuriko, the Governor of Tokyo Metropolitan Government, who has sent us a pre-recorded video message.
Hello everyone, I'm Koike Yuriko, the Governor of Tokyo. I'm delighted to be given the opportunity to speak to you today. I'd like to express my respect for the efforts made by all parties involved, including IJUS and the Ministry of the Environment of Japan, who are leading the project, as well as UTM and SEDA, who are cooperating with us. Since 2019, the city of Kuala Lumpur and the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, also known as TMG, have built a solid relationship of trust and cooperation in the field of decarbonization. I've heard that Kuala Lumpur has declared its intention to be a zero-carbon city by 2050 and is working on the decarbonization of its facilities and the establishment of carbon-neutral districts. It's a pleasure that TMG has been contributing to these initiatives. TMG is also accelerating its actions to realize Carbon Hub, a strategy to halve greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 and a zero-emission Tokyo by 2050. Together with Saitama City, which joined our partnership last year, let us encourage each other as partners to realize a decarbonized society. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。
本当にありがとうございました、Governor Koike, for her encouraging message. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue with our program, would everyone please join me in welcoming His Excellency Takahashi Katsuhiko, the Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, to share his insight. Ambassador Takahashi, どうぞよろしくお願いします。
Mr. Shimizu Hayato, Mayor of Saitama City, that's Sri Haja Nur Fajria Binti Sulaiman, Director of the Town Planning Department, DBKL, distinguished participants, both offline and online, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Ohayo gozaimasu, Assalamu alaikum. It is my pleasure to attend today's high-level talks on city-to-city collaborations towards zero-carbon Kuala Lumpur and to say a few words at the outset. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government and the city of Kuala Lumpur started, with the support of the Ministry of the Environment of Japan, a city-to-city collaboration in the field of the decarbonization in 2019, as previous speakers have already pointed out. I started to follow this collaboration closely with great interest since assuming office in November 2021. I am also pleased that Saitama City has joined this collaboration in phase 2, which began last year. This will further support the decarbonization of Kuala Lumpur, including the establishment of carbon-neutral town centers in the Wansa Maju Carbon Neutral Growth Center. As I heard that Mayor Shimizu will introduce various decarbonization initiatives undertaken by Saitama City at today's high-level talks, I hope that Kuala Lumpur City will make full use of the knowledge and know-how accumulated by Saitama City as well as the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. I also wish that this collaboration become an important step for KL City to achieve a carbon-neutral city by 2050 under the leadership of Mayor Kamaruzzaman. I understand that JICA, JETRO, and JACTIM will also make presentations on the trends of decarbonization in Malaysia and ASEAN, as well as Japan's initiative toward decarbonization. Since the decarbonization was identified as one of the potential areas of cooperation under the Look East policy when we celebrated its 40th anniversary last year, I feel growing expectation among stakeholders for making more bilateral cooperation in this field. Furthermore, the decarbonization could be an important part of cooperation between Japan and other ASEAN countries, given that we commemorate the 50th anniversary of Japan-ASEAN friendship and cooperation this year. I am confident that this project will be a catalyst to further develop the cooperation between Japan and Malaysia in the area of decarbonization, as well as enhance bilateral relations between our two countries. I'd like to conclude my remarks by wishing Kuala Lumpur City every success in achieving zero emissions with the cooperation of all the stakeholders participating in today's talks. Thank you very much, and ありがとうございます。テリマカシ。
どうもありがとうございました、Ambassador Takahashi, for those enlightening words. Ambassador Takahashi, we kindly request you to remain in front as we proceed with the special photo session. Now we kindly invite all honorable guests to join the ambassador in the photo session, please.
Yeah, you have to look in the name for Thank you. I invite others to come in front to take their that's pretty cool.
Hai, 素晴らしいです。Thank you, ありがとうございます、皆さん for participating in this special photo session. These photos will serve as cherished memories of our collective dedication to the cause of carbon neutrality and sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your seats as the program continues with engaging panel discussions and further insights from our distinguished speakers. Once again, thank you to the Ambassador, Mayor, guests of honors, and panelists for being an integral part of this historic event. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to a bittersweet moment in our event. The Ambassador, His Excellency Takahashi Katsuhiko, who has graced us with his presence and inspiring words, must now take his leave due to other pressing commitments. Before he departs, we kindly request all attendees to stand as a gesture of respect and appreciation for his time with us today. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Please be seated, everyone. Thank you. Now, let us maintain this spirit of enthusiasm and continue our program with unwavering focus. Ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled to present our next highlight, a keynote speech by an esteemed leader in the journey towards sustainable cities and insights to innovative initiative by our panelists. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency Shimizu Hayato, the Mayor of Saitama City, who will deliver the keynote speech today, to the front.
Selamat pagi. Good morning, everyone. I'm Hayato Shimizu, the Mayor of Saitama City. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for the warm welcome extended by Honorable Mayor Kamazama and everyone at DBKL on this occasion. Especially, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to Mayor Deta Kamazama for your warmest and fruitful time sharing opinions. Thank you so much for providing us a wonderful time, telemakashi. Furthermore, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the Ministry of the Environment of Japan, which has supported this intercity collaboration project, and to all the participants from IGES who coordinate this conference and UTM for the cooperation. In May, during the G7 summit held in Hiroshima, a communique was issued emphasizing the power of urban transformation as a driving force for sustainable development, highlighting the increasing importance of a city in achieving carbon neutrality. And in this context, I am deeply grateful for the meaningful opportunity to hold this conference, which paved the way for further collaboration in the future and allowed us to share our ideas and initiatives. First, please allow me to introduce Saitama City. Saitama City is about 30 minutes by train from central Tokyo, with 6 Shinkansen lines and other railways. Combining here, Saitama serves as a key hub for Eastern Japan. Moreover, since 2013, we have proudly hosted the Tour de France Saitama Criterium, a cycling race that brings the excitement of renowned Tour de France with world-class athletes, cycling through the city center. It is scheduled in November of this year. We also emphasize our commitment to sports by organizing full marathon and other athletic events. Furthermore, Saitama boasts attractions that showcase our rich cultural heritage and traditional industries, such as the Omiya Bonsai Art Museum and the Iwatsuki Doll Museum. So, when you visit Japan, I warmly invite you to visit and explore these wonderful places. Now, let me introduce the initiatives in Saitama City. First, we have developed a smart home community project, a model residence area that aims for zero carbon emissions and resiliency to natural disasters. In this community, every house is equipped with solar panels, promoting a shift toward a local produced and consumed energy lifestyle. These homes also utilize a home energy management system, which visualizes energy consumption within households, contributing to a reduction in carbon dioxide emissions. Within the newest division of this community, we have created disaster resilience by using efficient solar system to provide continuous electricity supply, even in the event of power outage during disasters. Furthermore, this project focused on improving the energy efficiency of the houses. We established unique criteria regarding air tightness and insulation to ensure highly energy efficient homes. It is possible that wooden houses are not familiar in Kuala Lumpur. However, wood is an excellent material for carbon neutrality. If forests are maintained through a proper cycle of planting, growing, and harvesting, it allows for sustainable regeneration. While it may be challenging to introduce this project into Kuala Lumpur directly, we believe that concepts such as effective use of renewable energy, resiliency from power outage through local grids, and the use of wood can be useful for you. In Japan, garbage in incinerated combustion temperature are controlled to prevent emission of air pollutant and reduce the volume of garbage. The energy produced during waste incineration is used as heat energy for heated pools and public baths and generating electricity. Currently, Saitama City collaborates with domestic companies to demonstrate the use of EV waste collection vehicles, which utilize electricity generated from waste incineration. These waste collection vehicles are battery swappable, eliminating the need for charging time and ensuring continuous operation. While landfilling remains prevalent in Malaysia, there are plans to construct waste incineration power plant with the assistance of Japanese companies, and there are ongoing efforts to further develop such infrastructure. Promoting sustainable society and the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, are crucial endeavors. Additionally, the efficient use of energy generated from waste incineration is a positive step forward, and we are delighted to be able to share such initiatives. In Saitama City, we are one of the leading major terminal stations in Japan, Omiya Station, with 33 railway stations and a well-developed bus network within the city. We actively promote the use of public transportation to reduce congestion and carbon pollution. Working with private companies, we have implemented a multi-mobility sharing program that allows users to access electric-assisted bicycles, scooters, and compact electric vehicles through a dedicated mobile app. In this project, we plan to develop means of transportation from station or bus stops to the final destination. The electric-assisted bicycle sharing system has become well established with approximately 100,000 users per month. Due to its naturally flat landscape, cycling is popular in Saitama. We have developed approximately 200 kilometers of cycling lane within the city for safe and comfortable bicycle use. Also, in urban redevelopment project, we prioritize walkable city design, creating pedestrian-friendly neighborhoods. Saitama City is actively pursuing sustainable development by working with the public and private sectors to encourage more efficient transportation options and reduce dependence on cars. In Saitama, nature is another important focus. Minamotambo is a vast green space which spread over 1,200 hectares that runs north to south through Saitama City. The Minamotambo was reclaimed about 300 years ago, and nearly 40% of it remains as farmland to this day. The Minamotambo has always had an essential role in flood control. Recently, we expect this agriculture green field might have several other functions as green infrastructure regarding biodiversity, decarbonization, and reducing heat island, and so on. Around the minimum tambo are parks, athletic fields, and historical cultural facilities, such as temples and shrines. These facilities and the cherry blossom corridors provide wellness, learning, and recreation for citizens. As we embrace an era of coexistence between human and nature, and of urban area and nature, our mission is to protect and cherish this green space as a priceless environmental asset for citizens and hand it down to future generations. In conclusion, through the Saitama Sustainable City Summit held last November, we learned a lot of advanced initiatives and know-how from cities outside worldwide, and led us to this relationship with Kuala Lumpur. Moreover, we have come to recognize the need for cities to actively promote further initiatives to achieve a sustainable society. By strengthening cooperation with Kuala Lumpur, we hope that our efforts will contribute to Kuala Lumpur's zero carbon initiatives and vice versa, further advancing our collective pursuit of sustainability. With that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Mayor Shimizu, for the insightful keynote speech. May I please invite you to the seat in front? Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to call our esteemed panelists to join Mayor Shimizu and take a seat in front to commence with the talk session. First, please join me in inviting Yang Berbahagia Datuk Hamzah bin Hussein, Chief Executive Officer of SIDA Malaysia. Next, please join me in inviting Tuan Haji Nik Muhammad Faizal, Deputy Director of Project Implementation and Building Maintenance at Kuala Lumpur City Hall, to come in front. Please also join me in inviting Ms. Toshiko Chiba, Climate Policy Specialist and Director at Tokyo Metropolitan Government, who will join us online to share her insights today. Next, we would like to invite Mr. Hironobu Ogawa, Director of Takasago Construction, to the table in front. And last but not least, please join me in welcoming the two coordinators for this session, Professor Ho Chin Seong of the University of Technology Malaysia and Dr. Junichi Fujino of IGES. Professor Ho Chin Seong and Dr. Junichi, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. A very good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Salam Malaysia Banani and Salam Sejahtera. I'm Ho Chin Seong, and today, together with Fujino-san, we will moderate this session. First of all, I think we are really lucky to have our keynote speech by His Excellency Mr. Hayato Shimizu, the Mayor of Saitama, and he has shared with us, I think, the best practices of advanced so-called decarbonization solution for Saitama City. And I think this is one of the area where the knowledge sharing and the best practices probably would able to be used by Malaysian cities, including Kuala Lumpur. I would like to invite the second speaker. I will pass it to Mr. Dr. Fujino to take over the second speaker introduction.
Selamat pagi. Nama saya Fujino. Apa kabar? I'm very much happy to back to Malaysia. Yeah, it's my second hometown. My honeymoon is at Tioman Island, Malaysia, a long time ago. We got a very strong energy from the Mayor Shimizu Hayato. He's really want to come to Malaysia here. So congratulations for your great speech. And then next I would like to invite Dr. Hamza bin Hashim. He's Chief Executive Officer, Sustainable Energy Development Authority, SEDA. SEDA is very important for our smart city development. And then, thank you very much for coming to this. And then, so over to you, Dr. So over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Coordinators, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege being invited to speak in front of you guys. And it's been very, very busy period for us in the renewable energy industry, especially after the announcement by our esteemed Minister of Economy like 2 weeks ago for the NETR. So everybody is looking and asking about renewable energy and such. Okay. So I've been invited to explain a little bit about SEDA, but before that, while waiting for the program to start just now, we were at the holding room. I was listening to what His Excellency Ambassador, our Ambassador just now was saying, a lot of things, his opinion about the political situation in this country, that he's not keen of the instability, keep changing the government. So we don't know whether this policy is going to continue in the future. So I wish he's here for a longer time so that I can explain to him what's actually happening in this country. Even though I'm a CEO to an agency, an aggregator from sustainable energy, I had some experience. I was a chief of staff for a minister in at least 5 different ministries. I was a district officer before, so I know a little bit about development of urbanization and all that. And actually, yeah, for us, I think Malaysians, we were so not very happy with the changes happening in the government. Keep changing, and us as a civil servant, the policy keep changing, so it's hard for us. Same goes to DBKL. I was meant to meet with your former mayor quite a few times. And I know he's very keen and very enthusiastic about energy efficiency, renewable energy, and such. So when he retires or didn't continue the contract, I wonder what's going to happen to DBKL, whether they're going to proceed with their program or not. So, but actually in Malaysia now, in terms of politics, we are in the transition to become a more mature society with our political situation. So, inshallah, I think we can assure His Excellency that the policy will remain in this country, especially in terms of the sustainable energy agenda. Okay, let's start. I have only 5 slides because I'm only allocated about 10 minutes. So basically, SEDA is an agency under Ministry of National Resources. No, because for the past 3 years, the name of the ministry keep changing. Okay, last time it was Ministry of Energy, and before that it was like I can't remember. Okay, and so now energy is not in the name of the ministry anymore. It's the Ministry of National Resources, Environment and Climate Change. no energy, no water anymore. Okay. So we were established back in 2011. And if you look at it, we have two acts, okay, related to our agency. First is the RE Act, Renewable Energy Act, and the secondly is SEDA Act. So because SEDA in charge of the RE Act, people thought everything renewable energy got to do with SEDA. So I joined SEDA in 2020. I asked them why you named the act Renewable Energy Act when the act actually only mentioned about the feed-in tariff program, not any other program, and about the RE fund, where most of Malaysians didn't realize they've been paying us, not us lah, the fund every month 1.6% from your electricity bill. Okay, but it's good lah, because majority don't realize it, because otherwise they will ask, where did the money goes to? Well, okay, all right. So this is what we second slide. This is what we introduced last year during by the previous minister, Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin, Malaysian Renewable Energy Roadmap, that will explain our new target up to 2035. So now I think Malaysia, if you're really into energy sector, you get confused. You have Malaysia Renewable Energy Roadmap, you have National Energy Policy, and now you have a National Energy Transition Roadmap. Does it complement each other or not? Okay, so let me explain. Malaysia Renewable Energy Roadmap will explain how we're going to achieve the targets of 31% by 2025 in 2 years' time when my contract expired. Okay, and then how we're going to achieve 40% by 2035. All right. The National Energy Policy explain beyond renewable energy overall, okay, to overcome the energy trilemma, the objectives, up until 2040. Okay, the energy and National Energy Policy will explain our target up to 2040 from 2022. Okay, now the latest announcement by YB Rafizi is going to take us beyond 2040 up to 2050. Okay, let's see the number. 2025, our target will be 31% RE capacity mix. 2035 is going to be 40% RE capacity mix. 2050, YB Rafizi already announced, we're going to try to achieve 70% RE capacity mix. So that will be the energy transitions plan for Malaysia. It's a tough job, but it's achievable. And beside these three policy, maybe you guys also remember that recently RENA launched or published Malaysia Energy Transition Outlook that make everybody become, especially the business sector, become more interested, because we need like trillions of ringgit to achieve our target by 2050. So it's getting very interesting in the RE sector. But next slide. These are the programs that actually we are doing in SEDA under the renewable energy segment. Actually, there's only two. Feed-in tariff program, the core business of SEDA, and the net energy metering. Net feed-in tariff program, at the moment, we only open bidding for quotas for three resources. Small hydro projects, biogas and biomass. And Net energy metering is the solar rooftop program for government building, for residential, and also industrial and commercial sector. People get confused. When they have problem with the net energy metering program, they always come to SEDA and complain about the rules. When actually the rules is actually decided by the Energy Commission. We are just the implementer. Okay. So these are programs. But because nowadays solar is the most exciting renewable energy resources. Yesterday, the Energy Commission already announced the winners for the CGPP program. There are still left about 200 over megawatt open. All right, thank you. So they said that's all for me. Time that I haven't got into the AE programs. So as mentioned by most of my officers, energy efficiency is not a sexy things to promote. Okay, that's why nobody likes to talk about energy efficiency. People always focus on renewable energy because that's where the money is. Okay, everybody been asking a direct quota from the government for gigawatts of capacity, but I always believe, and even IEA saying that the first policy to reduce demand of electricity is energy efficiency, not renewable energy. So I hope I've been invited to Japan one of these days because I need to learn a lot from Japan. The last time I went to Japan when I was only 9 years old. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamza, for sharing the very lively talk. Yeah, the real situation in Malaysia. Yeah, and energy efficiency is the first. Yeah, I also believe this one. Okay, then next I would like to invite Mr. Nick Mohammed Faisal bin Nick Ali, Chief Assistant Director Architect, Project Implementation and Building Maintenance Department, Kuala Lumpur City Hall here, PBKL. So, yeah, Nick-san, yeah, please, over to you. Nick-san is a real engine for our program among the KL, Tokyo, and Saitama. He joined this program from the very beginning, and then he worked so hard with his team, and then having very good results for phase 1, and then now we move to phase 2. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for the kind introduction. His Excellency Mr. Hayato Shimizu, Mayor of Saitama, Professor Kazuhiko Takuchi, President of IGIS, Yang Berhormat Datuk Hamzah bin Hussein, Chief Executive Officer SEDA Malaysia, Professor Dr. Ho Chin Siong, University Technology Malaysia, Dr. Fujino, Program Director of IGIS. Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone in this room and as well as those who follow this forum online. I would like to thank to Saitama City Delegation for traveling all the way from Japan to attend in Kuala Lumpur, as well as the hundreds of other participants who participate this forum online. Ladies and gentlemen, Kuala Lumpur today is Malaysia's engine of growth, leading country's economic productivities, driving social culture trends, and shaping the nation's future. Kuala Lumpur is located on the central west coast of Peninsular Malaysia, as shown on the map, and is enclaved within the state of Selangor and Klang Valley. Kuala Lumpur, which began in the 19th century as a tin mining town, has seen amazing expansion and evolution through the years. Today, our city is Malaysia's capital, with a population of around 2 million people scattered across 243 square kilometers. It is the beating heart and pulse of our country, as well as on the world's top cities. We have developed several master plans and to help us reduce climate change, including the Kuala Lumpur Low Carbon Society Blueprint 2030, the Kuala Lumpur Structure Plan 2040, and the Kuala Lumpur Climate Action Plan 2050. We have several other master plans in our quest to create livable and sustainable cities to ensure that our action plans are aligned with current global sustainability best practices and standards. As we walk the path of sustainability toward a better future for all, the 17 Sustainability Development Goals, SDGs, of the United Nations are crucial beacon for us. As a result, our action plans are in line with the 17 SDGs. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to emphasize here how important it is for us to work together, both locally, globally, to address urban challenges. Collaboration with universities, NGOs, government agencies, and private companies are example of this. Japan has been and continues to be a vital partner for us. Working with the IGs and Tokyo Metropolitan Government on the Kuala Lumpur Low Carbon System project for energy efficiency and low carbon effort is one of our most important collaborations. The recognition of Kuala Lumpur and Tokyo at the 2022 C40 Cities and Bloomberg Philanthropies Awards under the name of United in Building and Climate Movement gives us great pleasures. We are happy to work with Japan to help the region move towards carbon neutrality. And we believe that our partnership will not only be beneficial to both cities, but also serve as an example to future international collaboration among cities. As a result of our previous collaboration with the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, we have now started a collaborative relationship between Kuala Lumpur and Saitama City, which is still continuing. We are grateful for Japan's assistance and support with enable Kuala Lumpur to collaborate with Kuala Lumpur cities in the fight against global climate change. Saitama City has shown us their sophisticated microgrid system and knowledge of bonsai plant preservation. We hope that the assistance and guidance provided by Saitama City will help to increase carbon reduction in Kuala Lumpur with innovative concepts from Japan. Additionally, we are collaborating with C40 to create projects that could address climate change in cities. This effort is carried out in collaboration with city financial facilities in partnership with GIZ and with the support of Germany, United Kingdom, and also France. One of the first things Kuala Lumpur City Hall did after receiving guidance from Japan was to install solar photovoltaic system in buildings and infrastructure owned by the City Hall, such as the community complex, bus stop, and hawker center. Aeon, the Japanese company, was one of the first to express its intention to work with Kuala Lumpur to support the city's initiative to achieve carbon neutrality, especially in Wangsa Maju area, by installing solar PV panels on the roof of their buildings. This effort, I understand, will be continued at other Aeon branches in Kuala Lumpur. Other companies in Kuala Lumpur have started to install solar PV system on their structure. With this spirit, I hope that awareness and effort towards carbon neutrality for Kuala Lumpur can be realized. One of the developments that consider sustainable demands and is compliant with the SDGs is TRX City in Kuala Lumpur. This construction has received LEED and GBI Green Certificate. The standard of new construction of Kuala Lumpur will be measured with this type of development in the future. Kuala Lumpur City Hall is developing a checklist of the green standards so the future developments can be designed and comply these standards. Kuala Lumpur City Hall has roughly decreased carbon emission by 32 kilotons of CO2, which is comparable to 1,960 metric trees as a result of our efforts in renewable energy. By 2030, we still aggressively strive to cut carbon emission by 70%. Working to increase the number of urban tree plantings that serve as carbon sink. As a result of our 447 and 574,000 tree plantings since 2010, 7,400 kilotons of CO2 have been absorbed. Accelerating recycling effort that our public housing tenant can be recycling to offset their monthly rent. Kuala Lumpur City Hall is also assisting non-governmental organizations in establishing temporary recycling center in suitable places. It is estimated that 47.3 kilotons CO2 of solid waste in Kuala Lumpur will be recycled by the end of 2021. Given the vehicles are one of the most significant sources of carbon emission in cities, we have deployed 60 Kuala Lumpur City Hall electric buses throughout the city. We are confident that this will significantly reduce city's carbon footprint. Since then, we have cut 593 tons of CO2. With the help of the electric train transportation system, the transportation industry will be able to reduce Kuala Lumpur City's carbon emission by 40,341 tons CO2 in 2022. This value is equivalent to carbon absorption by 2,863 trees. By creating an extensive network of shaded bicycle lane and pedestrian walkways throughout the city, we are also encouraging the residents of Kuala Lumpur to take up walking and cycling. We recently created a car-free area in Kuala Lumpur, which has been made more vibrant with street performers, buskers, entertainers, cultural display, and food carts. This area is now completely pedestrianized. Our pilot project to make Wangsa Maju the first carbon neutral growth center in Kuala Lumpur is a significant undertaking that is driving us forward on our low carbon journey. The 5 key areas of Wangsa Maju Neutral Growth Center are energy, mobility, community, green, and waste. Ladies and gentlemen, since the Look East policy was established nearly 4 decades ago, we have collectively accomplished our many significant milestones for the sake of our country's ongoing peace and prosperity. Let's work together to ensure that the ties between our two nations are strengthened each year. To another 40 years of friendship and many more years of productive cooperation between our two cities, our two countries. With that, arigato gozaimasu. Thank you and terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nick Reza, for his comprehensive overview on this decarbonization initiative of DBKL. And I think like what Fujino-san mentioned just now, Mr. Nick Reza certainly is instrumental to this success of this collaboration between both cities. Next, I'd like to introduce our another very important speaker, Toshiko Chiba-san, Climate Change Policy Specialist, Director of Climate Change and Energy Division, Bureau of Environment, Tokyo Metropolitan Government. She'll be appearing online. As we can see, after hearing our Governor Yuriko Koike's speech on this city-to-city collaboration, and now Chiba-san will go into detail how this TMG new policies of decarbonization and how the advanced decarbonization technology can be shared with us. And without much ado, I would like to pass the floor to Chiba-san. Chiba-san, please.
Hi, Jose. Thank you very much for your warm introduction. My name is Toshiko Chiba, our Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Firstly, it's a great honor for the Tokyo Metropolitan Government to participate in this memorable event for ASEAN Japan. This month last year, I was here as well, and I mentioned Tokyo's climate change strategy. It's my great pleasure to be here again. Today, I'd like to share with you how strong measures for buildings stimulate vast investment in energy efficiency technologies and Tokyo's progress from last year towards 2030. I've broken down my presentation into 3 parts. First, I'll show Tokyo's aspiration. Then, I'll outline our current representative policy programs for decarbonization of buildings. Finally, I'll talk about expectations for collaboration with Kuala Lumpur and Saitama City. So let's start with our aspiration. Okay. Oh no. Okay, so as a global megalopolis, Tokyo has declared that Tokyo will seek to achieve the 1.5-degree goal and realize a zero-emission Tokyo that contributes to the world net zero carbon emissions by around 2050. In order to realize this, Tokyo has set several 2030 goals, such as carbon half. That means Tokyo will, by 2030, reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50% from year 2000 levels. Regarding greenhouse gas emissions reduction, we have 2 perspectives. Tokyo's activities have emitted greenhouse gas emissions, not only Tokyo region. That's why we have considered that contribution to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in other regions is pretty important. Based on this, Tokyo has set the basic concept of efforts toward 2030 carbon half. There are 4 measures. First one is reducing the fossil fuel consumption and improvement energy efficiency. The second one is expansion of renewable energy usage. Third, reducing the natural resource consumption and expansion of use of renewable resources. Okay, now I'll cover the next point. In Tokyo, buildings accounts for more than 70% of energy-related CO2 emissions. That's why we have been investing our energies passionately into decarbonization of buildings from the 2000s. Among other things, we have been working on creating rules and mechanisms based on the Tokyo Metropolitan Ordinance. Tokyo has operated several building programs from the period of planning to renovation stage. From last year to this year, we have been working on strengthening our programs by amending the ordinance. I'll talk about two representative policy programs. Tokyo has implemented a CO2 reduction obligation program for existing buildings under Tokyo Ordinance since 2010. We call it the Tokyo Cap and Trade Program. This is the world's first city-based cap and trade program for large-sized existing buildings. Facilities under this program are required to reduce their CO2 emissions mandatorily within each 5-year compliance period. After implementation, you can see a dramatic result. Now, we are in the third compliance period from 2020 to 2024, and TMG set the reduction target at 27% for buildings compared to the base year emissions. Covered facilities are now achieving 33% reduction levels from base year emissions. The facilities had plans to conduct several measures, from operational measures to the installation of highly energy efficient equipment in order to reduce their emissions. The top 3 measures are all installation actions, such as of heat source equipment and LED lights. Even now, 12 years after implementation of this program, we can see their ongoing equipment renovation plans. Now, we have proposed a new reduction obligation level for the next compliance period from 2025 to 2029. It will be almost half compared to the base year emissions as a step toward net zero by 2050. In order to limit the global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees, it's crucial to reduce actual CO2 emissions. That's why it's important to further improve energy efficiency and shift from fossil fuels to renewables. Next, last December, we created a new program for new houses by amending the Tokyo Ordinance. This program strengthened the installation of rooftop solar panels and ensures high thermal insulation. We plan to implement this program from 2025. The environmental performance of a new building will shape Tokyo in 2050. We aim to create a society supplied houses with healthy, comfortable, and resilient. In the wake of climate and energy crisis, Tokyo aims to update our social infrastructure towards decarbonized city. Taking advantage of Tokyo's strength, a city where buildings accumulate, we reinforce the measures on buildings and districts in terms of reducing energy consumption, generating renewable power, storing and using such a power. We have realized again that now it's time to act towards the integrated promotion of decarbonization and energy security. At international business location, expanding zero-emission buildings is essential for Tokyo and us in order to attract investment and businesses even in decarbonized society. That's everything on our representative policy program, and that brings me to the last point. It was 4 years ago, we KL and Tokyo started our practically collaboration with high aspirations. We had lots of wonderful achievements that have enhanced each other. As a result of our partnership, last year, Kuala Lumpur and Tokyo won the C40 Cities Bloomberg Award. We are really very proud of this. I believe that this award is a proof of our deep friendship, and this is also the start for the next step for three of us, Kuala Lumpur, Saitama City, and Tokyo. Again, now it's time to act. The integrated promotion of decarbonization and energy security. In this year, we are looking forward to sharing our experiences again and contributing to DBKL's initiatives. As I have said many times before, we are now at the same stage towards the realization of decarbonized city. I hope that we can continue to improve our action to each other through the collaboration in this year. Thank you very much. Teremakashi.
Thank you so much, Chiba-san. As mentioned by her, I think she have covered this concept, 2030 carbon half, and cap and trade, which is another new area which I think Malaysian always try to learn from Japan, and the installation of solar panel mandate. As again, she is also a very important founding team leader, instrumental to our T2 LCS project. And I think we really must thank her for this success until today. Yeah. Okay, after hearing the experience of Saitama, Tokyo, now I would like to introduce our next speaker. He's Mr. Hironobu Ogawa. He's the director of his department and manager of Takasago Construction Company Limited. Ogawa-san is going to talk about smart energy efficient housing. I think this is another area where our private companies can assist city as well as a country to achieve decarbonization. And he's also talking about very sustainable housing using local design. So this is something interesting for us to able to get knowledge from Ogawa-san. Ogawa-san, please.
皆さん、こんにちは。高砂建設の小川と申します。
A warmest greeting to all the distinguished participants and guests. My name is Ogawa from Takasago Construction.
本日はこのような素晴らしい会議にお招きくださり、また発言の機会をいただきましたことをお礼申し上げます。
I'd like to thank you to all the distinguished guests for inviting me to such a wonderful meeting today and for giving me the opportunity to speak.
さて、私どもは先ほど埼玉市の清水市長からご説明がありましたスマートホームコミュニティに協力してきたハウスメーカーでございます。
As Mayor Shimizu of Saitama City explained earlier, we are a housing manufacturer that has been cooperating with the smart home community.
お時間も限られていますので、早速本題に入ります。
Because the time is limited, let's get right to the point.
私がここでお話ししたいことは2点あります。一つ目は、高気密高断熱の考え方です。
There are 2 points that I'd like to discuss here. The first of all, the concept of high air tightness and high heat insulation.
今後、カーボンニュートラルを達成するためには、住宅ごとに二酸化炭素排出量を削減していくことが求められることになると思います。
In order to achieve carbon neutrality in the future, I think it will be necessary to reduce carbon dioxide emissions in each housing.
そのためには可能な限りエネルギー効率を高めることが必要です。
To achieve this goal, it's necessary to increase the energy efficiency as much as possible.
私たちの住宅は気密性と断熱性を高めることで少ないエネルギーで生活することができます。
Our homes can be used with less energy by improving air tightness and heat insulation.
この考え方は寒冷地以外でも有効です。私たちは日本でも気温の高い沖縄県にモデルハウスを建設し、 冷房にも高気密高断熱の考え方が有効であることを証明しています。
This concept is also valid outside of cold regions. We have built a model house in Okinawa Prefecture where the temperature is high and have proven that the concept of high air tightness and high heat insulation is effective for air conditioning.
スライドが、そうですね。下が沖縄ですね。沖縄にお越しの際には、ぜひ私たちの住宅がいかにエネルギー効率が良い家か体験してください。歓迎いたします。
When you come to Okinawa, please experience how energy efficient our homes are. You'll be welcomed.
次のスライドお願いします。2つ目は木造建材についてです。私たちの住宅は埼玉県の地元の木材を使用しております。
The second is about the wooden building materials. Our houses are made from local wood from Saitama.
海外から輸送する場合に比べ排出する二酸化炭素が少なくなります。また、木を伐採すると同時に植林をして森を維持していきます。
Compared to transporting from overseas, less carbon dioxide is emitted. In addition, trees are cut down and trees are planted at the same time to maintain the forest.
これらの取り組みにより、私たちの木造住宅はライフサイクルカーボンマイナスを実現しています。
Through these efforts, our wooden housings have achieved a life cycle carbon minus.
マレーシアには豊かな木材があると聞いております。これらを地産地消することで森林を維持管理していくことで、あなた方の脱炭素が進むように思います。
I understand Malaysia has abundant timber. I believe that local production of and the local consumption of these and the maintenance and the management of forests will advance your decarbonization.
私たちは今まで日本で住宅を作り続けて間もなく創業50年を迎えます。
We've been building houses in Japan and will soon mark the 50th anniversary in the business.
今まで培ってきた技術を海外の技術者にも学んでいただくために、海外に拠点を設け、設計者を育成する取り組みを進めております。
In order for overseas engineers to learn the technologies we have cultivated so far, we've established a basis overseas and are working to train designers.
もしもクアラルンプール市でこのようなコンセプトで住宅を設備することがあれば、ぜひ私たちにご相談ください。お役に立てると思います。
If you have a house in Kuala Lumpur City that is to be developed with such a concept, please feel free to contact us. I think it will be useful to you.
最後にご関係者の皆様のご多幸をお祈りし、私からのご説明を終わります。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Finally, I'd like to conclude my presentation by wishing all the distinguished guests and all the stakeholders here the best. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ogawa-san, for sharing the very latest and a very practical example. Very great program. Then I need to conclude the session, but I'd like to appreciate of course, the mayor's Shimizu's keynote speech and also Dato Hamza's talk and then Nick-san and Chiba-san and then Ogawa-san. So please give us the big applause and thank you so much. Dr. Hamza, he need to join the very urgent thing, so then he need to leave. So then please give another applause to the Dr. Hamza, who he's very great to the presentation. Thank you, Dr. Hamza. Yeah. So let's move to the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Ho and Dr. Fujino, as well as esteemed panelists for sharing your experience in implementing so many initiatives in your cities. It is indeed inspiring to all of us. And I would like to invite all the panelists back to your respective seats. This leads us to the next session, during which we will have the privilege to learn of the efforts of the Japanese organizations and the business sectors in the Asian region. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Minako Sugawara, Chief Representative of JICA Malaysia, and Ms. Mai Onozawa, Managing Director of JICRO Kuala Lumpur, to the front desk. Next, please also join me in inviting Mr. Sawamura, President of the Japanese Chamber of Trade and Industry, who is participating online today. And lastly, please join me in inviting Town Planner Chow Loon Wai of University of Technology Malaysia and Dr. Ryoko Nakano of IGES, the two coordinators for this session. Town Planner Chow and Dr. Nakano, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam MC. Good afternoon to all our very, very important persons, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In the interest of time, please pardon my very brief and general salutation given here. I am Chow Loon Wai from UTM, and with me is the elegant Dr. Ryoko Nakano from IGES, and both of us will be moderating this session. Let's get down to the point directly in the interest of time again. After listening to the three partner cities, an authority and a company in the previous session, I believe we now have even better ideas about the climate policies, projects and opportunities for collaboration in Malaysian cities as well as in ASEAN. Complementing this, therefore, let's move into this very important session where we will be listening again to three entities with regard to the actual implementation of and opportunities for collaboration of carbon neutrality policies and projects in Malaysia and ASEAN. And without further delay, first, let us welcome Ms. Minako Sugawara, Chief Representative of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Malaysia, to share with us JICA's observation and wishes for the implementation of and progression towards carbon neutrality among Malaysian and ASEAN cities. So the floor is yours, Sugawara-san.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction. So good afternoon, everyone, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sugawara Minako, Chief Representative of JICA Malaysia office. First of all, I would like to extend our congratulations for the continuous close cooperation among Kuala Lumpur City, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and Saitama City for carbon neutral city. I'm pleased to witness that our completed satellites project, named Development of Scenarios for Low Carbon Societies in Asia, has created a positive ripple effect and now is being rolled out in Kuala Lumpur as we can listen at the event here today. Given that the project had been implemented from 2011 to 2016 and formulated the Low Carbon Society Blueprint for Iskandar, Malaysia 2025. I sincerely give applause to University Technology Malaysia and others involved for your dedications and continuous efforts from the project completion up to present. I'm convinced that the Kuala Lumpur experience and achievement will also be replicated to other Malaysian cities and ASEAN countries in the future. Promoting low or zero carbon and climate resilient urban and infrastructure development is one of the important global agenda for JICA. And we would like to continue to contribute to human resources development of Malaysian government through training in Japan on this matter. In addition, we plan to start a new technical cooperation project with Malaysian Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change pertaining to national reporting obligation to the UNFCCC under the Enhanced Transparency Framework. Furthermore, JICA has relatively new proposal-based program for Japanese enterprises with innovative technology and knowledge to expand their businesses overseas in various fields that may assist in fulfilling societal needs and have a positive impact on the social welfare of the partner countries. I would like to encourage Japanese enterprises in Tokyo metropolitan area and Saitama Prefecture to utilize this program to test their technology or product in Malaysia to address climate change. Lastly, I'd like to wish everyone here for the great success and good collaboration. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you so much, Sugawara-san, for that very brief sharing and bringing back a sweet memories of SATREPS 2011 to 2016. Some of the members here are actually from the original program, and we are really happy and glad that we have grown to become independent and to be able to help Malaysian cities to move forward. So thank you very much.
And thank you, Charles Sensei, for the excellent moderation. And now let us move on to the next presenter, Ms. Mai Onozawa, Managing Director of JETRO Kuala Lumpur. Ms. Onozawa will be talking about JETRO's initiatives in supporting Japanese companies in Malaysia or are interested in coming into Malaysia. Ms. Onozawa, the floor is yours.
Selamat tengah hari. Very good afternoon. Nur Fajaria binti Sulaiman, Director at the Town Planning Department of KL City, and distinguished guests, including Mr. Hayato Shimizu, Mayor of Saitama City Hall, my fellow speakers and the panelists, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I'd like to extend my great appreciation to IGES, to approaching JETRO to participation in this high-level talks today. I understand that the Malaysian government is promoting the National Energy Policy 2022 to 2040 to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. The several roadmaps under this policy, as Dato Hamza mentioned, there are several roadmaps are there, but such roadmaps clarify the mid to long-term direction for business strategy planning. So for corporate activities that are promoting decarbonization initiatives, we very much welcome such policy and roadmaps. According to a survey conducted by JETRO last year for the Japanese government operating in Malaysia, 76% of the companies have some kind of decarbonization initiatives in plan or in place. It is ranking third among ASEAN countries. For example, there are increasing collaborations between Japanese and Malaysian companies in the CCUS technologies, as well as Japanese companies venturing into solar power generation as energy company. So we observe growing interests from both sides in collaboration through technologies and products that contribute to specific initiatives such as energy conservation and renewable energy. However, there are some issues in promoting decarbonization in Malaysia. First, we have to say there has been a delay in the formulation and announcement of the long-term low-emission development strategies. Once these strategies clarifies the roadmap to carbon pricing as well as obligations to be fulfilled by industry players, together with related initiatives given by the government, further new businesses development and technological alliances between Malaysia and Japan in this area are expected to get into full swing. In addition,
The joint crediting mechanism, which is called JCM, has been concluded with 7 countries in ASEAN region, but not with Malaysia at this moment. So we believe that this JCM will contribute the expansion of investment from Japan in related fields, the strengthening of Malaysian industries, and the decarbonization target by the government. While waiting for the formulation of the long-term low emission development strategy, as well as the conclusion of JCM, JETRO would also like to offer necessary support to the companies. Last year, we have compiled a list of 89 Malaysian companies that are working on decarbonization in Malaysia and disseminated this list to the interested Japanese companies. We have received several inquiries from Japanese companies, and we are providing support for individual matching with Malaysian companies and participation in business meeting in Japan. We'd like to continue working with the Malaysian government agencies, including city councils such as DDKL, to promote investment in Malaysia and expand the business for both Malaysian and Japanese companies in various fields, including decarbonization areas. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Ms. Omada, for the stimulating presentation, including your actions on supporting ASEAN and Japanese companies. Now, over to you.
So next, let us quickly call upon Mr. Takeru Sawamura, President for the Japanese Chamber for Trade and Industry, Malaysia, JACTIM, to share with us JACTIM's actual role and ongoing work in connecting, facilitating, and accelerating trade and industry involvement in climate projects and businesses in Malaysia. Sawamura-san is joining us online, so I will now happily pass the screen over to him.
All right, thank you very much. I hope you can hear clearly my voice. Mr. Chirode, for warm welcome. Very good afternoon to all the esteemed guests and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me today, these sessions. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate very robust tie-up between the Kyoto City and also Tokyo Metropolitan Government and also Saitama City. My name is Takeru Sawamura, the president of the Japanese Chamber of Trade and Industry in Malaysia. It's so-called JACTIM, and I'm also the deputy CEO of Mitsui Sumitomo Insurance Malaysia here. JACTIM was established in 1983 with the aim of bridging between the Japanese company in Malaysia and the Malaysian society government. So this year, luckily marks the 40th anniversary of the establishment. We have been convening the voices of Japanese companies to the Malaysia government for the coexistence and mutual prosperity of the Japan-Malaysia industries, contributing to the Malaysian economy as much as possible. Currently, JACTIM has approximately over 600 member companies. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks exactly 1 year from the day when high-level talks on the collaboration towards zero carbon Kuala Lumpur was held here at DBKL in August last year. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for the invitations extended to the JACTIM once again. JACTIM has organized seminars on the global warming and Japan Environment Cooperation to Malaysia for our members companies, assisted by IGES, Professor Takeuchi, Director Dr. Fujino for many years. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude once again. Through the informations about decarbonization's audience in the Tokyo, and initiatives for resource circulation, as well as the introduction of initiatives such as the Misono area in the Saitama city and energy efficient inserted housing. We recognize that the intercity collaborations project between the KL city, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and the Saitama city made significant progress until now. Going forward, during the implementation phase of these projects, we JAP team, which has members representing Japanese leading construction companies and engineering companies here in Malaysia, will share the information with each relevant party and consider how they can participate and cooperate. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kyoto Protocol at COP3 in 1997 and the Paris Agreement at COP21 held in 2015 have been significant milestones. As you know, Malaysia, following these agreements, also has set the goal of achieving net zero emission by 2050, or the speaker mentioned already, and reducing CO2 emissions per unit of the GDP by 45% by 2030. At the same time, the Malaysia Long-Term Plan Shared Prosperity Vision 2030, or SPV 2030, between the 2020 and 2030, aim to transform Malaysia into a high-income country and promote equal distribution of wealth. To achieve this, industries such as E&E, aerospace services, halal, creative, tourism, and biomass are seen as drivers of economic development. Particularly, Japanese companies in Malaysia play an important role in the transition to a high-income country economic development. To achieve this, it is essential not only to provide incentives and improve the investment environment for attracting further investment, but also declare the CN 2050 at COP 26 and COP 27. It is important to collaborate with the Malaysian government based on the specific government initiative, such as the National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR, and Hydrogen Economy Technology Roadmap, so-called HETR, to achieve sustainable energy supply. At the same time, again, we, JACTIM, would like to seek the way how we can collaborate and contribute to this decarbonization collaborative program of KL, Tokyo, and Saitama, together with our members companies here. Thank you very much for your kind attentions. Terima kasih, arigatou gozaimashita.
Sama-sama, doitashimashite.
Thank you.
Sawamura-san. So we can see that the collaboration and cooperation between Japan and Malaysia dated back for so long ago, and we keep on mentioning the 4 decades of Look East policy, or LEP. And we can see that apart from our partnering cities like Saitama and Tokyo, here we are very fortunate, and we need to be very grateful to all JICA, JETRO, and JACTIM for their continuous significant support, kind help and contribution, as well as generous offering of further opportunities and collaboration, business and trade, as we just heard from the 3 presenters. And I was told by the Secretariat earlier that we could probably end at 12:30. So we do have a bit of time. I thought probably it's important, before passing over to Nakano-san to make the wrap up, perhaps to open for one quick question in light of the opportunities and offering given to us here. If there is anyone from the businesses, industry, or even from the cities who may have any questions for our speakers, this is the time. It's now or never. Perhaps not. Yep.
Sorry, Chairman.
Sorry.
This is Sawamura of the JAC team. I don't have any other questions, but I like to comment a little bit from to the KL city, because
Yes.
as I said in my statement, the comment, since we have a lot of the Japanese corporate here who may have the know-how to promote this kind of activity. If you face something the issues, please contact to the JAC team office first, and then I will introduce some of the Japanese company to support you if possible. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So with that, I think I pass over the final wrap up
Yes.
to Nakano-san.
Yes,
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you, Mr. Sawamura. Thank you. And that brings us to a close of this session. And I think you can join me in agreeing that this session has not only been a rich dialogue of different initiatives, it has offered a positive message of a high level of ambition and commitment among the parties in the road to carbon neutrality, and the strong will to cooperate together. Please join me for kindly sharing their excellent presentation today, Ms. Sugawara, Ms. Onozawa, and Mr. Sawamura. And it is always an honor to hear from the leaders of their thoughts in such times of immense transition. And it has been also a great pleasure to offer you this session together with Chao Sensei, whose rich experience and future vision for this area is always an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we near the end of this remarkable event, let us express our gratitude to all the speakers and panelists for their invaluable contributions, and also our sincere thanks to our coordinators and panelists, as well as all participants for engaging in this enriching discussion. It's now time for our closing remarks. We have the privilege of hearing from Professor Town Planner Dr. Ho Chin Siong of University Technology Malaysia, and the President of the Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, IGES, Prof. Kazuhiko Takeuchi. Please welcome Prof. Ho for our closing remarks.
Thank you very much, MC. Very good afternoon. We've been talking about Look East policy, 40 years of collaboration. And I must say that I'm a real product of the Look East policy. I did my PhD in Japan back in 1990. So, 本当にお世話になりました。Okay, to begin my this closing speech on behalf of my Vice Chancellor. First, I'd like to address to Madam Nur Fajaria binti Sulaiman, representing Dr. Wanda of Kuala Lumpur. She's a Director of Planning. And Mr. Hayato Shimizu, Mayor of Saitama City. Professor Kazuhiko Takeuchi, President of Institute of Global Environmental Strategies. DBKL Head of Departments, distinguished speakers, delegates from Saitama City and IGS, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning again. We know that great times always feel so short. So have we passed the 2 hours of excellent exchange of knowledge, ideas, and experiences among us. Our shared intention is very clear: to be united and work together, accelerating Kuala Lumpur and other Malaysian cities and Asian cities transformation into sustainable, resilient, and carbon neutral society by the mid-century.
I must say a big thank you to all distinguished speakers and everyone who are present at or whether in person or real time virtually and contributed to the success of important and meaningful high-level talk. The collaborative efforts and great friendship between DBKL, ENG, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, IGS, UTM, and SEDA dated back to 2018, leading to a highly celebrated Tokyo to Kuala Lumpur low carbon system, or I call it T2KL LCS, with Saitama City joining us in 2021 and taking us to even a greater height. Thank you for making this a reality. I must also say a big thank you again to MOEJ for the continuous and solid support that make this city-to-city collaboration possible. To the series of forward-looking DBKL mayors and importantly, the highly dedicated DBKL staff who are the backbone of this project. I hope the exemplary collaboration will continue and expand indefinitely as we move forward to the implementation of the projects and welcome new partners in the development of carbon neutral Kuala Lumpur and Wangsa Maju Carbon Neutral Growth Center. Thank you very much. Stay safe and keep well, and see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ho. Next, Professor Takeuchi, may we invite a word from you?
Thank you very much, and distinguished guests, dear colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to have this opportunity to address you today as the co-organizer for this event. Unfortunately, I could not physically attend due to the previous commitment, but I'm very pleased that I could deliver this closing remarks. First of all, I would like to thank Mayor Kamal Zaman and everyone at Kuala Lumpur City Hall for co-hosting this event, which brought together experts from Malaysia and Japan to discuss their respective climate policies. This event could not have succeeded without the dedication of our co-host, the University Technology Malaysia, our partners, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and especially Mayor Shimizu of Saitama City and his team of Saitama officials who supported him. The many contributions by the numerous organizations to support this event have also been vital. As we have heard from Vice Minister Yutaka Matsuzawa today, accelerating climate action at the subnational level is a shared priority for many countries. We heard that the Ministry of the Environment of Japan is leading an initiative with more than 62 areas already taking action to reduce emissions and achieve decarbonization. Mayor Kamal Zaman talked about Kuala Lumpur's progression toward becoming a low-carbon city and achieving carbon neutrality. This is something which is inspiring other cities in Malaysia and in ASEAN to follow the path to decarbonization. The sounding positive message from this event is a level of ambition and commitment of cities to transform their economies to adapt to the climate crisis and to go even further than the national target. It also shows how the three cities have increased the level of ambitions because of their collaboration with each other. In July, I participated in the high-level political forum at the UN headquarters in New York to review the progress of the SDGs. There, I participated in the fourth Climate and Synergy Conference, where we discussed how progress could be secured from the context of multiple interlinkages between the SDGs and global climate action. Given the importance of cities, I see the collaboration between KL, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and Saitama City as a world-leading case for such synergies. I just will continue supporting your efforts to raise ambition and promote local climate actions to achieve zero carbon emission goals by 2050, which can be done through simultaneously addressing sustainability issues. With this, I would like to close the conference. Thank you very much. Teremakasih.
Arigatou gozaimashita, Professor Takeichi, for your closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, before we end this program, may I invite Madam Noor Fajaria, Director of City Planning Department, on behalf of the City of Kuala Lumpur to the front for a memento presentation session to the panelists and coordinators. Please welcome Puan Noor Fajaria. First, I would like to call upon His Excellency Shimizu Hayato, the Mayor of Saitama City. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Hironobu Ogawa, Director of Takasago Construction. Next, Tuan Haji Nik Muhammad Faizal, Chief Architect for Implementation and Building Maintenance Department of Kuala Lumpur City Hall. Next, Professor Ho Chin Siong from University of Technology Malaysia. May I invite Dr. Junichi Fujino of IJAS. Next, Ms. Sugawara Minako, Chief Representative of JICA Malaysia. Next, Ms. Onozawa Mai, Managing Director of JITRO Kuala Lumpur. We call Town Planner Chow Lun Wai of University of Technology Malaysia. And lastly, Dr. Ryoko Nagano of IGES. Thank you, Madam Fajaria, for your kind. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move towards the end of the program, let us carry with us the shared commitment to sustainability and carbon neutrality. Before we conclude, I would like to invite all attendees to join us for a networking lunch, which will be held on the floor below. This lunch will provide an excellent opportunity to continue our discussions, forge meaningful connections, and explore potential collaborations. Your presence will undoubtedly enrich this gathering as we work towards our common goals. Together, let us continue to drive change and build a greener and more sustainable future. Thank you all for your participation, and let's make the most of the rest of this momentous event and the networking lunch that awaits us downstairs. Minasan, otsukaresama deshita. Please have a good lunch, everyone. Gochushoku o tanashimi kudasai. Arigatou gozaimashita.